Guys, I officially passed my registered dietitian exam, which means that I am officially a registered dietitian. And y'all, today I am literally going through every single step of the process of taking this exam, and I really hope that this can be helpful for anybody who's prepping to take it right now, or even if you're earlier on your RD journey and you're just interested in what the process looks like. I really think that this video will be beneficial for you. We're gonna jump around to a few dates, but first I'm starting with showing you guys what the process looks like to actually sign up for the exam through CDR. Then we're going through actual test day, how I felt before the exam, how I felt after the exam. Then I basically sit down and give you guys a full debrief on what exam day was like, what it was like actually going to the facility, how it was like working with the people there, what it was like actually sitting in the testing room, the materials that you get, how I didn't have a physical calculator and how you should ask for one. I'm talking about what I studied the 2 weeks before the exam, and also comparing a lot of the different big prep materials. And the most important and exciting thing of all of this is that I have 8 friends in my cohort who have already passed this exam, and I basically heard from all of them what they used to study, what they thought was most beneficial, what they thought had the most similar mock exam questions to the actual exam. And I'm giving you guys all of those details from not just me, but my 8 other girls in my cohort. I really hope this is going to be helpful, and please, if you have any other questions after this video, please leave them in the comments. But first, we are going to flash back in time to when I was able to pick a date and sign up for the exam. Okay guys, we're clearing off my exam book and putting down my computer because they just changed my name in Pearson. Well, okay, to essentially give you guys the rundown, basically a few weeks ago, or actually I think it was, I don't remember what date it was, but a few weeks ago, our professor basically let us know that our certifications were going to be sent soon, or our like verification statements, so that we could actually sign up to take the registered dietitian exam. Now, about a week ago, it actually was approved for us to sign up for an exam date, which means that our verification statements passed by the CDR board and they said, okay, you are good to sign up for an exam date. Now, unfortunately, I don't know what happened, but my name was like spelled wrong in the thing, like my last name. And right when I was about to check out with my exam date, it said that you have to make sure that your name is correct, spelled correctly, because if it is any different than what your ID says, then you will not be able to take the exam and you will not be able to get a refund. So I was like, oh my gosh. Okay. So I went through all these emails, basically emailed like CDR. They sent me to the CDR exams people, who then sent me to the Pearson people. And then all 3 of them had to change my name in their systems. So now it is officially all changed, which means that right now is the first time that I'm going to be able to register and sign up for my exam date. So I'm going to show you guys what that looks like to actually sign up for your date. Okay, so after they send you the email that is like basically creating your account, you get here to this dashboard, and then you hit this RD, registered examination for dietitians. Then basically it's asking me like to understand this, which I'm not going to be getting a test bundle. And then it says this will send my test results to my program director. Our program director is switching this year, but because this will help them like to improve their effects, I'm just going to say yes, because I just always like to give the most information. So now I'm going to say next. And then the next thing that comes up is this admission policy. So this basically tells you everything that you need to do. You need to get there 30 minutes before the exam starts, and you need to take off your eyeglasses, probably because they want to make sure you're not wearing like robot eyes or whatever they call them, AI eyes. What are they? I don't even know. You can't take any personal items. This is telling you that there's no electronic devices in the room, and that if you want to reschedule, you have at least 48 hours before the actual scheduled appointment to reschedule. And if you want to cancel your exam, you have to call them also like 48 hours before. So I'm going to agree to all of that. Then this is essentially going to show me locations that I can take the exam based on my address. And so I put in Birmingham. And so relative to Birmingham, these are the closest places to me. So now you have this map which shows you where in the US there are a bunch of testing sites. Now this will put in, like, if you live somewhere else, you'll put in your exact address and it will show you. But right now it's focusing on me in Birmingham, which means that basically I have 2 options that are in the city of Birmingham. One in Montgomery, one up here near Decatur, and then there's one in Tupelo, Mississippi. So I am going to go through one of these 2 because those do have options. So I'm going to come over here and I'm basically going to check this one and I'm going to check this one so I can check both of them and then go to the next page. Now this will show me when there are dates open for both of these locations. So here we have June for this location only. So this is interesting to me because originally in June, no late dates were open. It was all dates for the first week of June and maybe like the 7th, but none of these dates were open. So I don't know if that means that somebody has basically backed out or what. And then for July, for this texting center, we have these later weeks. Now for this other location in June, we only have the last 2 weeks. So you can see that it's different. And then we have all these later dates. Now, this is kind of a bummer for me because I was kind of looking at this date on the 10th before, but because it took them time to change my name, couldn't get that. Also, when you click on an actual date, it will show you the time, and the time differs for each date. So this date, the 14th at this location, would be starting at 11:30. The 15th, it would be starting at 8 a.m. The 17th, let's see, it would be starting at 1:45. So it's basically, you have to make sure you're looking at the times. I think that I'm going to be looking more for like an 8 a.m. date, to be honest, because I really want to get it started early in the morning. I've heard it's good to just not have to think about it. And y'all know I wake up pretty early in the morning. So something like a 2:15, or even I think one of the dates I was looking at was like a 4:30 to 8 p.m., which I just know would not be good for me. And this is when planning kind of comes into play. So basically, what I've done, and I don't know if I've explained this before, but basically it takes me about 10 pages per hour of this book. And so I know that based on that, I can count how many pages are left in the book, plus how many hours of videos, add those together, and basically determine how much longer this will take me based on how many hours a day I do. So right now, I have now gotten to the nutrition care processes. And so based off of that and how many pages I have and how much time, I'm estimating that. And also, just to tell y'all, today is June 6th, Saturday, June 6th. So I have determined that for me, it will take me, if I do 3 hours of studying per day, it will take me 2 weeks. So today's the 6th, it will probably take me until June 20th to just get done with material. Now I want time after that to be able to take mock exam, do practice questions, probably at least a week after that. So for me, that's going to take out all of these June dates because the last 2 in June are the 22nd and the 24th. I don't want that. And let's check our other location just to be sure. The 29th, I could potentially do if I had a whole week of doing practice questions. But, I've got to remember, I am taking one vacation in late in June. So really, that's not going to be good for me. So let's look at July instead. So in July, we've got the earliest date available in July for either of these is the 13th. So that is going to give me 2 weeks to finish the book. Plus then, it's going to give me a whole 2 weeks, I think. 2 weeks to study, 1 week for vacation, and then 2 weeks to solidly do practice questions. That to me sounds pretty good. And I'm going to check on this July 13th date. It's a Monday and it is at 8 a.m. So I think I'm going to choose that date, which is going to give me a total of 5 weeks until my exam. And seeing as I'm almost done with the book, I'll show you guys, I have it right here. This is what I have done. This is what I have left. So for that, I feel like 5 weeks is going to be a really good amount of time. I also don't want to stress myself out because, again, I know that if I tell myself to do a bunch every single day, might end up backfiring and I might get too stressed, too overwhelmed, and not do any. So I think I'm about to choose this 13th date. Now, this is the farthest that I've gotten so far since my name wasn't working before. So let's find out together how, what, if anything else happens. We'll see. Okay, so July 2026, July 13th, I'm going to say book this appointment. Okay, so it's coming up. It's showing me the location. It's showing me the start time. It's showing me the location and showing me the price, $250. So this is really also why you want to make sure to give yourself enough time. You don't want to have to take it again and you don't want to have to pay that again. This review and confirm contact information is definitely where I stopped last time because I realized that my name was wrong. And I'm not a dietetic technician, so I'm not doing that. And then I'm not doing the retake. The retake is if you want to basically add 2 tests to your order instead of 1, then you can get a discount on the second test. I'm not doing that because I am trying to have confidence in myself that I will pass in one go. And then I'm just going to review contact information, and it's showing me this is the amount due. And so now I'm going to proceed to checkout. Okay, now it's time to put my credit card in, I guess. Okay guys, I am officially registered for the RD exam. So the countdown is officially on and I'm officially getting ready to take it. I have been getting ready, but this is just really putting me in the zone. And I'm going to stick to my plan of doing about 3 hours per day for the next 2 weeks. I'm going to have a week where I'm kind of gone. I might do some practice questions just through Pocket Prep, which I also need to show you guys. And then from there, I'm just going to be doing practice questions, doing mock exams, which I have not yet. I've not done a mock exam yet, so that's also going to be really interesting. But yeah, okay, I'll see you guys and let you guys know when I finish the book. Good morning, everyone. I am a little bit frazzled and a little bit in a panic. I am on my way right now to take my registered dietitian certification examination. Woo woo! So exciting. You need your ID to take the exam, and my mom and I just tore my entire house apart looking for my driver's license and couldn't find it. So I have my passport with me, and I'm hoping to God that that will work. I was gonna get on here with plenty of time and be like, oh my gosh, these are all the things that I'm feeling. I don't really have time for that. So the rundown is that I am not really feeling stressed. Yesterday I wasn't really feeling stressed. Woke up early this morning with some butterflies. Tried to go to bed early last night so that this morning I could like wake up. I took a shower. I made a whole breakfast for myself. I have my snacks for before and after if I get hungry, because you can't have anything during the exam. But now I am feeling a little bit stressed because I'm a little bit short on time. You're supposed to get there with 30 minutes before the exam. It's 7:20 right now. And my exam time is at 8, so that means they want you to get there at 7:30. The exam place is like 16 minutes from my house, so I'm going to be a little bit over that 30-minute mark, but you know what? Everything's just going to be fine because it has to be fine. And that's my update this morning, and I am really hoping this is going to go well because, you know, I really want to become a registered dietitian. I really want to become a registered dietitian today. I keep wanting to say registered dietitian exam, but I'm not becoming that. I'm taking that. I want to become an RD today. That's the goal. That's the hope of everything in my life right now. And I don't want to have to pay the $250 a second time to take the exam again. The pass rates are pretty low right now, but all my friends have taken the exam except for me. So I'm like, well, not all my friends. One of my friends takes it tomorrow, but the majority of people that I know have taken it already and have passed. So that should be like a good omen for me, hoping. The sky's really dreary today. I woke up and it was pitch black outside and I was like, oh my God, don't tell me it's 2 a.m. because I'm wide awake right now. Anyways, I'm talking a million miles an hour. If you can't tell, I'm like nervous. And I'm about to call my boyfriend and he's gonna calm me down, and then I'm gonna go and take the exam, and it's 3 hours. Yeah, I guess I'll see you guys after and let you know how it goes. The goal of this video is that I was gonna tell you what everything happens on exam day. I obviously can't have my phone in the testing facility, which means that I'm just gonna have to explain it all to you guys afterwards, and hopefully that will be good and give you guys good insight into what this is like. But this is your raw, real emotion of me leaving my house and being on the way to my testing center right now. This turn signal is probably driving me all crazy. I'm so sorry. Okay. Okay. Woo! Woo! Okay. Okay. Guys, y'all are hearing it here first. I officially passed my registered dietitian exam. I am literally officially a registered dietitian. I can't even believe that that's true. Literally, y'all, I went back and took a video to show you what I was like coming out of the doors of this building. Because I'm literally not kidding. I walked out the doors and I skipped all the way across the parking lot because, oh my God, I'm so freaking excited. I can't believe it. I got a 28. I honestly did not think it was that bad. I honestly didn't. Like, every single question I could at least pare down to like my top 2 choices, and then from there it's just a 50-50 shot. Really didn't think it was that bad. I will say, like, my head kept getting into it and I was like, oh my God, I just want to be done, or like, oh my God, this is taking so long, or like, oh my God, I need to like calm down. I'm gonna go into the whole details of the entire process later, but right now I'm about to call everybody that I love and know, because oh my freaking God, I'm officially a registered dietitian. All that time going to my rotations, all that time in my classes, getting my bachelor's degree, my master's degree, and now I have this freaking piece of paper to prove it, that I got a 28 and I passed my registered dietitian exam. So, woo! Okay guys, it is the next day, and if you can't tell, I look a little different and my room looks a little different for it being one day after I took my exam, but I literally just came from a haircut. It was time. It is now that my exam is over, the clock is ticking down to the time when I'm about to move out of the state of Alabama. So I'm getting all of my affairs in order. I got my haircut today. It looks phenomenal. I forgot how much curl I was missing by having it so long and having those like stringy bits. So I'm really, really excited about this. it's looking phenomenal. And my room is also getting prepared to move. So I've taken everything off of the walls. All my pillows are gone and everything is literally bare bones. And I'm doing some more moving today. But I needed to come on here and have a little chat with you guys about how the exam went and basically all the thoughts that I had about it. Okay, so first things first, I want to walk y'all through the actual steps of going to take the physical exam because I had not heard any of this stuff. I had no idea what the actual day was gonna look like, okay? So they sent me an email like a week before that was like, reminder about your exam appointment. It's coming up, it's here, it's gonna be at this building. And I was like, okay, got it, perfect, whatever. I had no idea. It was through Pearson, which is where you schedule your exam. Pearson does a lot of different exams, apparently, for a bunch of different examinations. So when I went in there to take my exam, there was other people signing up for their accounting exam, for their... Actually, I don't remember the other ones that there was said, but basically a lot of different exams that they do of all different varieties, and you're all taking the exam in the same room, or is it, at least that's how my facility was. So let me just paint you guys a picture, okay? So I'm driving. Also, take back to when I was so stressed yesterday because I couldn't find my ID. I did end up finding my wallet. It was here in Tuscaloosa, thank goodness, which is one of the reasons that I had to come here today was to get that wallet and make sure that I didn't lose it somewhere. But so the morning of, my mom and I are looking everywhere, tearing the house apart for my ID. We find my passport and I take that instead, okay? So I'm driving, I'm stressed, I'm running a little bit late. They tell you to get there 30 minutes before your time so that you have time to do all the things. And I got there about 20 minutes before my time started. So I pull up, passport in hand, I'm stressed as heck. And I'm like, I need to go in this building and I need to just go like find out what's what. And I think I like memorized, I left my phone in the car and I turned it off because you can't bring it in there, which it would have been fine if I did bring it in the building, but just to be safe, I turned it all the way off and put it in my cup holder or in my like center console. And I memorized the instructions to get to the room. So I was like, okay, go in the building, go past the elevators, go to the right, go down the hall. The room will be on your left, go in. And so I was like, hopefully I'll remember that. So I go in and I'm so nervous. And I see a little sign that says, this way to the Pearson testing rooms. And I was like, perfect, that's exactly where I need to be. So I go and I open the door. And it's like a little waiting room, okay? And obviously not every place will look the same, but if it's all through Pearson, I'm assuming that their testing facilities are somewhat similar. And this was in like a corporate office building with a bunch of other rooms. But I go in and it's like a little office. So there's like all these chairs sitting around the room. There's lockers on the far side of the room. And then on the other side, there's a desk and there's a lady sitting there. So I like walk into the room and I like take a look around and I'm like, okay, chairs, lockers, desk. And the lady at the front desk is talking to somebody else, but she's immediately like, okay, just let me know what test you're taking and take a number right there. And there's like a little post with a little like stack of numbers, like if you go to like the deli or something and they like call your name. And she goes, okay, what exam are you taking? And I was like, oh, the registered dietitian exam. Grabbed my number. It was like number 10 or something. And it was so that she could see everybody in the order that they got there. Also, I got this haircut like 2 seconds ago. I can't stop looking at it. Like, holy cow. Okay. So I grab my number and I go sit down. And she also, while I'm sitting, she gives me 2 sheets of paper to read in the meantime. So I'm like sat in my chair and I'm reading the Pearson like guides for being in the exam. And it's like, you can't have this, you can't have this, you can't have this. If you take a break, your time's gonna keep going. And I was like, okay, I'm reading. And then she gets done with the person at the counter. Somebody else goes up. And I'm like, okay, now I'm really starting to get like nervous because I was thinking that it was only going to be dietitians taking this exam in the room with me. And I was like, there's not anybody else in this room who has said that they're taking the registered dietitian exam. Are they all already in the room waiting for me? Like, am I late? But that's not the case because everybody is taking their exam in the same room, no matter what exam they're taking. So I finally go up to her. She calls my name. And so I like get up from my seat and I walk over and I'm like, hi. She's like, hey. And the first thing that I did, which they tell you when you sign up for the exam that you're gonna have to do this, is they read your palm. So they have this little like plastic box with like 2 metal prongs, and then you put your hand like this inside the prongs. And so you stand there and you do it about 5 times for each hand, back and forth and back and forth. And that's to read your palm. And so I was like, oh, this is so interesting. And she was like, yeah, if you leave the testing room and you go back in, like during your test to use the bathroom or something, you have to rescan your palm so that we can make sure it's you. And I was like, oh, makes so much sense. Got it. And so then she was like, okay, perfect. Can I just see your driver's license? And I was like, so about that, I was like, I'm really, really hoping that you take passport. And she was like, I do. That must be an interesting story. So I hand her my whole passport, and this lady was so nice. She was like a mom, and she was like, I always tell my kids, I'm like, even if you're not traveling, you need to get a passport because you never know when you're gonna need it. And she was like, and you needed it. And she was like, did you just rip your house up looking for it? And I was like, yes, me and my mom did. And she was like, and I bet your mom came in clutch with the passport. And I was like, she absolutely did. I was like, I wouldn't be here without her. Thank goodness. And so she was very, very nice, talking to me about all the things. And she then said, okay, perfect. Do you have anything on your wrists? And the only thing I had was this bracelet. And she was like, you're gonna have to take that off. And I was like, oh, okay. So she gives me a key to a locker. Like I said, there's lockers on the far wall. So I walk over to my locker and I choose like number 10. And all I had to put in there was my keys and my little bracelet. So I like took it off, whatever. And then she was like, if you need to use the bathroom last minute, go ahead and do that. And so I did not have a watch on. There wasn't a clock in the room. I had no clue what time it was, but I was like, I'm gonna need to go pee right now, like ASAP. So I was like, thanks. And then I was like, speeding out the door. Because I was like, I'm gonna use the bathroom and then I'm gonna get back here ASAP. The funniest part about it was you have to take your passport and the key in the room with you, so I couldn't put those in my locker. So when I went to go pee, I literally had my passport, which she had put in a plastic baggie, and my key, and literally like, I was like, I guess I'll just have to leave these on the counter and hope that nobody takes my passport because I'm not gonna go pee with it. So that was interesting. Then I come back to the room and I'm like, okay, it's time, I'm going in. So I go up where I see this other girl who is preparing to go in and take her exam. And I was glad that I saw this girl do it first because I was not prepared for the level of security happening to get into this testing room, okay? So I walk up and this girl, the lady that was like facilitating this security, the girl in front of me had an oversized sweatshirt on it and I did too. And she's like, okay, sweatshirt off. And so I was like, let me go ahead and put my sweatshirt off. I'm like, take this off. And then she's like, okay, I'm gonna need you to hold your arms out like this. She goes, I need you to, well, actually first, after she took the sweatshirt out, she's like, I'm gonna need you to pat yourself down, which I did see on the little like rules that they gave me that they would ask you to do that. So she was like, just, pat yourself down for me, like make sure that you don't have anything in your pockets, whatever. And then she was like, okay, hold out your arms. And so she takes not one, but 2 of the like TSA devices where they literally scan you down. And I was like, wow, this is like serious. And so then she gives that girl like all the instructions for her test. Then she goes to the room. Then it's my turn, okay? I go up and she goes, do you have anything in your pockets? And I was like, oh, I don't think so. And she's like, well, you're gonna need to go ahead and check them for me. And so I like go in each one. And the only thing I had was literally like this. It was, I go, oh, I have a hair tie. And she goes, it's either gonna need to go in your hair or in the locker. And so I'm like, okay, let me just put it up really quick. I was like, I'm so sorry. So I put my hair up. Which I wasn't really wanting to do at that time, but I did it anyways. And then she does the TSA scanner on me, but I'm like, I'm ready to go. She goes, okay, I need to put your necklace, which is this. She goes, put it inside your shirt for me, please, and do not take it out of your shirt. And I was like, perfect. So if I were you guys, I just wouldn't wear any jewelry because again, this might be like the people that I was with were just maybe a little bit more strict than other places would be. But like, if you're nervous at all, I would just not take any jewelry because the way that I was like, I usually fidget with my necklace. And so I was like, Victoria, you're gonna have to not do that. Like, stop. Leave it in your freaking shirt. And so I put it in my shirt and then she's like, okay, I'm gonna give you your materials. And for the RD exam, there's math on it. And you're allowed to have a calculator, but they have to provide you with a calculator or you use one on the screen. And this went by too quickly for me to remember to ask for one because I just assumed that it would either be on the desk or that they would automatically give it to me if they had one. And I did find out that another girl who took it at my same facility, they did give her a calculator. So I'm not really sure what happened there, or I probably should have asked. But I did not get a calculator, and going into it, they also tell you that you will get a whiteboard or a scratch sheet of paper where you can like write things out. So I'm expecting a whiteboard, and she gives me a packet of like 3 pieces of laminated paper, and 2 pens that were not like dry erase markers. And the whole test I was kind of confused because I was like using these like felt tipped pens. And at one point I tried to erase my math and it really just smudged and didn't do anything. And I was like, I feel like something's wrong here. Or I guess you can only erase it really when you're done with the test and then they can like wipe it down with the correct cleaning materials. But that actually like kind of threw me off because I was like, I was just expecting to have a whiteboard. I practiced. Y'all saw I practiced with my little whiteboard that big, but it's okay. It ended up being fine. And the only thing that they did have at my desk was a pair of soundproof headphones. And multiple people who took it at multiple different facilities told me that they had those there. So if you're somebody who needs soundproof headphones, use those. They were honestly a little bit heavy for me. Like they're pulling my ears down. So I didn't end up wearing them. But the lady does like scan us into the room. She opens the door. And the room that you actually take the test in, it was kind of dark. And it was like all around the perimeter of the room against the walls were all these cubicles with big computer screens at them and chairs. And so there was already quite a lot of people taking their different exams. And it's not like everybody starts at once. And again, you're taking different exams. So it's just whenever you go in there, they will start you. So we go in and I sit down at my computer and she logs herself into the computer. And then she's like, okay, you're gonna do this little demonstration that they have for you, and then you're gonna move on and start the exam. And I was like, okay. So this is when it's actually time to start the exam. I go through the little module that they have, and it's basically just reading you, like, this is what the screen's gonna look like when you get on there. This is how to get the calculator on your computer. Because if you don't have a physical calculator, up in like the top left corner, there's a little calculator button that you just click on it. And the worst part about this calculator, y'all, is that so you have to use your mouse. You have to move your mouse around to type in to click the numbers. And then if I were to say like 4 divided by 2, you hit the divide sign, but it doesn't tell you that you hit the divide sign. Like you don't know that for positive. And of course, I know 4 divided by 2 is 2. So if I did that one, I would know if it was right or not. But when we're doing these big, massive numbers or these big formulas, that's difficult. And because you couldn't like follow through steps, like you have to start over every time you did any type of equation, it was so clutch to write down every single thing on that weird laminated paper, like to write down all the formulas and every single step so that I knew where I was in the formula. So that is one tip that I would definitely say is like write it down. And just ask them if they have a calculator. And once I sat down, like and read it, there was something that said like you can ask for a calculator to see if the facility has one. Just raise your hand. And so I kind of tried to like raise my hand, and then I looked behind me and she was like working with somebody else. And I was like, I'm just too nervous and jittery. I'm just gonna start. Like I'm just gonna go start the exam. But definitely you should like ask if they have one. So now the start the exam button, it's staring me right in the face. Like if you're my computer and I'm me, I'm like terrified at this point. I'm looking at my computer screen and I'm like, okay, here goes freaking nothing. I have no idea what's about to happen. I have no idea the questions that I'm about to get. And one thing that I would also like to say is about my mindset going into the exam, because at this point, almost everybody that I knew from my class had taken the exam. 8 girls had taken and passed the exam. And I heard a variation of different description of what the exam was going to be like. One person said that there was absolutely nothing on the entire exam that they recognized from any of the study materials. And most everybody else said that like they recognized the concepts on the questions, but most of the questions wasn't like you read the question and then you immediately know the answer, or you can pick the answer easily. Pretty much every question is like you're gonna have a minute to have to think about it and cross things out. And that's the experience that I had. And to be honest, like in comparison to that one person said, doing the all access book and the pocket prep, which was the only 2 things that I did to study for the exam, those were so instrumental because they taught me all of the background of what was going to be on this exam. Like especially pocket prep, like all access gives you the information, but doing so many mock exams and so many practice questions through pocket prep, I felt like I was just taking a pocket prep exam. Like I was like, okay, yeah, I'm a little confused on some of these. Okay, yeah, I'm just having to kind of choose the best answer or like, you know, cross out which ones I know are not it. But it did not feel overwhelming or daunting. And honestly, because people had said that it was so difficult, I was in there being like, okay, like, look at me, I'm cooking, like, I'm doing so good. I know what this means. I recognize this keyword. I was like, dang, I know all of this, like, boom, 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 boom. But literally just because I was recognizing the things and the questions and the answers, and some people had told me that they had no idea what was going on the whole exam. So that, like, kind of gave me a false sense of like, wow, I must be doing amazing because I recognize so many of these Cree terms and words, which that's the key, is you want to be able to at least know kind of what it's asking you about, even if you don't know the exact question. And I know that this all sounds so arbitrary and just kind of like, you know, I wish I could tell you exact questions on the exam. You do have to sign an NDA about what the actual questions are, but it really did give you all 4 subjects. I got food management, I got food science, I got medical nutrition therapy, I got like pretty much everything. I got it on the exam, and pretty even amounts. I would say the only thing that I got more of, which indicates that I was probably getting some of these questions wrong in the beginning, was about infant nutrition. But it's such a toss-up of what questions you'll get, because like 125 questions is really not a lot of questions for the amount of knowledge that we could have. Like a lot of my friends probably didn't even get a single question about infant nutrition that they had to ask. That just happened to be one of the ones I got and got wrong, and then it wanted to test my knowledge and see if I knew it. So that was really interesting. But my mindset throughout the whole exam and what I knew I needed to do was I need to just slow down. So my thing for myself, because on my mock exams, the kind of mindset that I was getting into was my brain was like, go, 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 fast, fast, fast. We have to get this over as soon as possible. Oh my gosh, finish the exam, go, go, go. And I was like, Victoria, you cannot do that on the actual thing. We have to take our time. And taking my time was so excruciating. Okay, it took so long. It took 2 hours to finish my exam, which you get 3 hours for the exam. So I did finish early, but holy cow, I got to like question number 60, and I was like, oh my God. It's like, I need to be done soon because I am like mentally getting so tired. Part of it was like fun because I was like, okay, I'm figuring it out, like blah, 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 blah. But I was like, God, I just like wanted this to be done and know what I got. Even on question 30, I was like, can I just skip ahead and see like what's happening? So that was kind of my mindset. And what my tactics was, when I would click to the next question, I would immediately put my hands underneath of my seat and I would sit on them. And I wouldn't let them come up unless I was writing something down or doing something on the calculator, so that I actually could take my time, review my answer, and make sure that that's like what I wanted to put. So that was helpful. Also, halfway on the Pocket Prep mock exams, it lets you take a 10-minute break that doesn't like count for your time in the middle of the exam, where you can like walk around, stretch. And I really wanted that. Like when I got to question 70, I was like, okay, I need to stop. And what I did for myself was I was just like, okay, I'm just going to close my eyes. I'm going to chill. And I was like, I'm going to do that yoga thing, you know, where you like start by wiggling your toes and then you like move your muscles all the way from your calves to your thighs to your butt, because my butt hurt from sitting for so long, up to like my abdomen and my arms. And I was like wiggling my fingers, like not that big because there's other people in the room, but like to myself, I was just letting myself have like a little reset moment, because I was like, okay, first half, okay, I'm thinking about a football game. I'm like, first half done. I need to be a second half team. Okay, whatever I did in the first half, I need to do better in the second half. I need to be a second half team. I need to be a fourth quarter team. So I needed to take a couple of those breaks to make sure that I was really staying on my game and that I was not just like going completely like, I don't know, numb to the questions and just being like, oh yeah, that seems good. Also, the day before my exam, I listened to a podcast from Zach Kaisberg, I think is his name, that does the all access videos, and I'll actually put it up on the screen which one I listened to. And while I was listening to it, I was number one, maybe about to fall asleep, because he talks very slow. And it also, the entire video, it's like 24 minutes, it seemed so self-explanatory and easy, but it actually helped me because it was like, okay, this is kind of easy. It's 4 multiple choice like answers to pick from on every question. You have a 25% chance of getting it on every question. And like he was talking about, he was like, you just eliminate one question one answer at a time until you get to like a better percentage. And if you can get to a 50-50 shot, like you can rule out 2 answers and you have 2 left, then that's amazing. Because if you think about it, on this exam, the exam is 125 to 145 questions. And it's out of 50 points and passing is 25. So if you can narrow down every answer, like every question, to at least 2 viable options, then you should be able to get like a 50% on the exam. And honestly, genuinely, pretty much every question I did feel like I was able to at least knock out 2. There was a couple things where if it was something like which of these vitamins or minerals is like you know, does this deficiency cause or something, where I was kind of like, okay, this is a little bit up in the air. But genuinely on most of them, I was able to either pick what I thought was the right answer or get down between the two that I thought were correct. And doing that and feeling like that ended up getting me a 28. And so, like I said, I'm going through the exam. I get halfway. I'm so tired. We get all the way to the end. And at question 118, guys, went from me being like, okay, really mindful, really calm. When I got to question 118, I was like, I need to get done. I need to get done. I need to get out of here. I need to go. I need to go. I need to go. I had so much pent up energy, and I was literally just like, okay, we need to just go. We need to just finish. Like question 124, I was like, oh my God. And 125, I was like, Victoria, lock in and read the question. Lock in and read the question, and then you're gonna be done. Like, oh my God, please, like, just read this question. And then after 125, it said, like, thank you for completing the test. You'll see your score in a minute. And I was like, oh my God, thank God it didn't take me to 145 questions, because I don't know if I could have done that. So that comes up, and then it takes a second, and then it makes you do a survey before you can actually get your exam score, okay? It gives you a survey. And it's like, how did you think this was? Blah, 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 blah. I think for every question in the survey, I answered that it was like excellent, because genuinely, like, finding the place was excellent. The people there were very good at explaining what was going to be happening. And like the whole process went very smoothly for me, all things considering losing my ID. And so then after the survey is over, your screen pops up and it is your score, which I got a 28. And you guys have probably seen all over LinkedIn, people will just post them with the selfie of their sheet of paper. Like, you know what the sheet of paper looks like. And so I saw it and it was a 28, and I was like, amazing. Which also, again, reminder, at the beginning of the exam, I was like, I'm cooking. I'm doing so good. I'm probably getting a freaking 40 on this thing. Like, holy crap. So when I saw my score, I was like, okay. And then I was like, well, yeah, this is a little lower than I thought it was going to be. But like a 25 is a 25, baby. 28, oh, past my expectations. I was just hoping for a 25. So super happy with it. And then I turn around and the lady, because the lady watches you through a glass screen at the back of the room. And so the lady already knew that I was done. So she gets up and she comes in to get me. So I quickly gather my things. I walk out with her. And then the lady at the front desk, the one who I talked to initially about my passport, she hands me the paper and she's like, congratulations. And I'm like, oh my God, thank you. Like, so excited. So I got my stuff out of my locker, my stuff being this bracelet and my keys. And then I showed you guys yesterday, but like, unironically, I think because of the energy I started to pent up between like question 118 and 125, like how I could try to get like this. When I walked out of the doors of that room, all the way across the entire parking lot, I was high skipping, like maybe even more than I did in the video. I was literally like on cloud 9. I was like, I am done with school. I am done with exams. I never have to do this again in my life. And that was so freaking exciting. Like, I literally can't even describe to y'all. And then I told you guys first, I was like, insider scoop, you heard it here first, that I passed. And then I proceeded to do as I was directed by all of my family members. So I called my mom, then I called my grandmother, my aunt, then I called my great-grandmother, then I called my boyfriend, then I texted all my friends and let the troops know. And I think I sat in my car in the parking lot for like 30 minutes after my exam, because I was like, woo, thank goodness. Thank goodness. And then it was over. It was completely over. Now, the last thing that I'll say and tell you guys about before I go, and that I think that might be helpful, is what my last couple weeks looked like studying, my last 2 weeks. Because the last video that you guys saw me, I had finished the book for All Access, and I had finished all the videos from All Access. So that was like the content portion. So my goal for the last 2 weeks before my exam was going to be to go over my notes from the book or the PowerPoints from All Access. And I was going to go over those every day and then do practice questions that corresponded to them. And on Pocket Prep, you can either do the like quick 10 quizzes or you can do the level up quizzes. And I honestly had a bit of a time figuring out Pocket Prep. I don't think other people did. Like, I think it's pretty self-explanatory, but it tells you how many questions that you have left. They have a 1,500 bank of questions. I had 200 left by the end of it, so I still did 1,300, which was really awesome. But I was definitely stressing about finishing all of them, because one of my friends, and the other thing that I'm going to tell you guys about is we're going to do a section on what my other friends who have passed thought about the exam and the prep materials. But first, one of my friends had said she only studied for a week, okay? And in that week, she did all of the pocket prep questions and just watched the all access videos. And she got a very good score on the exam. And so I was like, if I just do all the pocket prep questions, I'll be good. And guys, I was doing a couple hundred a day and it was tiring. Like, I wish that I had started pocket prep much more than 2 weeks in advance, especially because like some things I was seeing was saying to take the mock exams on there like way before, like 2 weeks in advance. And I was taking the mock exams every other day for like the days leading up to the exam. And I will show you all my pocket prep stats. We'll put it on the screen right here. Pocket prep stats. And so I didn't finish all the questions, but I got really close. I did the mock exams. My mock exams were in the low to high 60s. The first mock exam I did, which you guys saw, was for pass class, and I got a 64 on that, I'm pretty sure. And so these were my scores for the pocket prep exams. And I've heard that pocket prep is supposed to give you the lowest scores. And when I was getting these 60s, in my head, I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna fail this exam. This is not gonna go well. And my friends were telling me, no, they're saying that that's actually good. Like, that means that you're gonna pass if you're getting like high 60s. And if you get 70s on pocket prep, then you're almost guaranteed to pass. So I was like, okay, well, that's relieving, I guess. And in the few days leading up to the exam, I kind of was getting like, maybe I should get like the 7-day free trial of EatRight Prep. But I was like, Victoria, is it really going to make that much of a difference? Like, let's not. And it also, pocket prep shows you how you're doing in each category. And there's a lot more questions of the medical nutrition therapy, because not only is there a lot more content on that, but that's a lot bigger portion of the exam. So that was really interesting. But these are my stats. This is how it lined up. And these are the stats that had me get a 28 on the exam. Although I really do think that your exam score is probably going to be a lot based on what questions that you get on the exam. And not to say that it's luck, because I do think that like getting the background of knowledge is really important, and being well-rounded in the whole thing is important. But you just have to go into it with the concept that you're going to have to be definitely doing some process of elimination. And it's not going to be like a test in school where you're going through and you're like, oh, absolutely 100% know that, quick. It's going to really take some critical thinking, and that's a lot what all access talks about. And if you're having trouble with that, or like you've taken the exam before and are to have to take it again, I would recommend the tutors for all access, because from what I've heard, they really help people with figuring out how to critically evaluate questions, because that is going to be the biggest thing, is being able to stay like positive and calm on test day, and being able to work through each question even when you don't know exactly what the thing is you're looking at. And then the actual day before my exam, I listened to that one podcast that I showed you guys from Zach, and then I did nothing. I went to go visit my family. We had a birthday party for my brother and my 2 cousins, and I just totally chilled. I didn't do anything, and I was like, whatever it will be. I was not stressed the day before. I was stressed the morning of. Like, I had my alarm set for 6 a.m. because my exam was at 8, had to get there at 7:30, took 15 minutes to get there. So to be safe, I wanted to leave by 7. Didn't happen. I left at 7:20 because of the ID issue. But I woke up at like 5 o'clock, my eyes open, and I was like, and it was really dark outside because it was gloomy yesterday, and I was like, I hope to God that it is 5 a.m. and not 2 a.m. because the amount of awake I am right now, if it's 2 a.m., I'm not going to be able to go back to sleep. Okay, now to give you some perspective on my other friends. So I have 8 other friends who have passed the registered dietitian exam in the past month, and they all had a variety of scores anywhere from 25 to the high 30s. And so there was quite a bit of discrepancy between what people got, how people thought the actual exam was, and what people used to study. I would say I think everybody in our program that has already passed the exam bought all access. A majority of people did not think that the book portion of all access was beneficial. Maybe not the majority, maybe I would say it was half and half thought that the book was beneficial. Everybody thought that the videos were beneficial. And on all access, you can like opt out of buying the physical book. And so I think this depends on what kind of learner you are. Personally, the book helped me. I enjoyed the book because the videos, I need to be somebody who's actively doing something. And I think for me, the book, taking notes on it on my iPad made me slow down. And yes, it takes forever. It takes forever to write notes on a book and to get through the whole thing. But that helped me because I would read something and then I would have to take like 2 minutes to actually write that concept out. And if I were to have just read it, then I probably would have forgotten about it. And it wasn't like I was writing it word for word. I was writing it in my own terms. I was like letting it settle in my brain for a minute before writing it down. And so for me personally, the book was helpful and the videos were helpful as like a reinforcement or to really pinpoint like what in that chapter was actually significant or important. Another thing about the book and why a lot of people disliked it is because it is really specific, while also missing out on some concepts that other things like Eat Right Prep actually do cover. So when I got to Pocket Prep, there were some questions where I was like, I've never heard of this before. This was not in the book. And it wasn't, because it misses some things. And on other things, it's extraordinarily detailed. Like for the foodborne illness section, oh my gosh, I regret the day that I took to write all of those down. Like that is true. Out of the entire book, the day that I took to write down all the foodborne pathogens, if I was you, skip it. Watch the video, see what the top 5 are. They are not going to ask you about those specific weird ones. Like, I just promise you it's not going to happen. Or I guess I won't promise you with certainty, but I just don't think that it would happen. So that's kind of the feelings that I've heard about the all access textbook. About half people wish they got it, half people wish they didn't. Everybody enjoyed the videos pretty much evenly. Some people liked the man that teaches more than the girl that teaches, and so that was different for different people, but that's kind of the gist of what I got out of people who did all access. Now, as for Pocket Prep, that's probably the second most used thing out of all the people that I know that have taken the exam. And everybody said that Pocket Prep, maybe everybody except for, well, no, one person said that Pocket Prep they felt was a lot harder than the actual exam. They felt like the exam was a lot easier than Pocket Prep, but also that's kind of a good thing because wouldn't you rather like practice with something harder? And then there was one person also who said that the Pocket Prep questions they felt were nothing like the exam questions. That person felt like the Eat Right Prep questions were a lot more similar to the exam. But another person said that the Pocket Prep they felt were more similar to the actual exam questions than Eat Right. So I think that, again, is up to what kind of questions you're getting and how you're perceiving them. But if you're between Eat Right and Pocket Prep, it sounds like either one could be good. And there was one girl in my program, different from the two that I was just talking about, who got all access, hated the book, didn't have time to read it, only watched the videos and did the Pocket Preps, studied for like 1 week. And she said that she had wished that she got Eat Right Prep because that seemed like it would have been much more up her style. But all access does a really good job of being on social media. They do a really good job of marketing. They have a lot of people to market for them. So that's kind of like why everybody in our group went ahead and bought all access early on before knowing what the other options were. So I would say don't let their marketing get to you and just try to look at the other options to see what's best for you, because everybody is a different kind of studier. And that I think is really key to think about when you are like debating buying all this money, because Eat Right Prep and Pocket Prep, or Eat Right Prep and All Access, are the same amount. I think they're both like $300 or something like that. So definitely think about where you want to put your money into your study materials. The third study material that I heard, or I guess Eat Right Prep was the third study material that I heard of. The fourth study material that I heard of was Jean Inman. And I had one person who bought Jean Inman and one person who, or two people who listened to her videos on YouTube and like for free. And one of those two people who listened to it on YouTube thought that it was very, very helpful. They got a couple questions on the exam that were exactly the same questions as they had in the Jean Inman. So that could be beneficial. But the other girl who got Jean Inman, or who did the Jean Inman on YouTube, did not get any questions that she recognized from Jean Inman on the exam. So again, it's all just kind of subjective, but you just have to have a really good, I think, well-rounded mindset about it, and not going into it thinking that you'll get exact questions, but just thinking that you want to get the most well-rounded education that you can going into it. Because yes, we learned a lot of things in school. There was a lot of stuff that I did not learn in school that I learned from All Access and from Pocket Prep, because like we just didn't learn about a lot of this stuff, like these really specific things in school, or at least I don't remember them because it's been a few years since our food management classes. So all in all, you know yourself best as a studier and as a test taker. And I think that really before you start studying, what I would do if I did it over again was I would evaluate your strengths and weaknesses on studying and test taking, so that you can evaluate what kind of resources would be beneficial to you for both of those things. Because the last thing that you want to do is waste your money on a prep material that doesn't work, or wasting your time taking an exam that costs $250 that you're gonna have to take a second time because you didn't prep a way that was beneficial for you, or because you didn't work on your test taking anxiety or different problems that you might have with test taking. I think that learning how to calm yourself down on test day is really important, because I am not even somebody who has test anxiety. I'm not somebody who gets freaked out by them, and I was having to really control myself and rein myself in and not let my brain go too crazy. So definitely that's something that I would work on, is just like being able to stay cool, calm, collected, read what you're looking at and go through it. And also just believe in yourself. Like, you guys can 100% pass this exam. 100%. It's so much having to do with just like believing yourself, being able to stay calm and be confident. And like, you guys are absolutely capable. There's not even a doubt in my mind. And I think so many people scared me going into the exam that I was like, there's no way that I'm going to be able to do this. This is going to be all guesswork. It's going to be horrible. It's not all guesswork. It all comes down to just choosing the best answer, going through and knocking things out. And with that, I'll also say something that I thought about a lot when I was using Pocket Prep to study was I almost thought Pocket Prep was a little bit easy sometimes, because a lot of the times with Pocket Prep, the questions, I felt like there was a couple answer choices that I could easily rule out, or a lot of the times I was choosing my answer based on what I knew the other answers were not correct. And I did not know if that was going to be similar to the exam. I didn't know if the exam was going to have all things that really could be like contenders for a right answer. It was totally the same. Like, definitely on the exam, like I said, I could at least knock out 2 answer choices. And so for that reason, I personally think that Pocket Prep was very similar. But yeah, that is how my test day went. That's how my lead up to the exam went. And if you want to see the details on how I studied for All Access and how I studied before 2 weeks leading up to my exam, you can go watch my last video, and I have like a whole spreadsheet of like all the hours that I did in every section and how long it took me. And again, that was me taking my time, taking notes. But I just really hope that this is beneficial to someone, and probably if I looked harder I could have found somebody like talking about it. But if this helps you, I hope that it does. And if you have any questions about it, please let me know in the comments, and I'm so happy to answer more questions or talk in more detail about different parts of this experience. It's definitely interesting, and I know that in the past that they've had a lot of problems with like low pass rates, and have even been giving out surveys to RDs asking them about their experience taking the exam. And I'm pretty sure in 2027 they're going to be making a new version of the exam. So just really just believe in yourself, guys. Like, you guys are going to be great. You're going to be phenomenal. And if it makes you feel better, the pass rates are low, but the pass rates for my class right now are 100%. And I'm so excited for everybody who graduated from my class. And part of that, what my professors say a lot, is that taking the exam as soon as you can after graduating from your internships, so crucial, because you learn so much in your internships and your graduate school classes. So if you can take it as soon as you can after you finish that, that would be such a phenomenal thing to do, because you're just fresh on your brain and you're just going through the textbook and you're going more at it. And it's hard because you just want to be done with school, you want to be finished, but it's so worth it, because now I really am done. And I'm so glad that I didn't wait any longer to take the exam. And I'm just so freaking happy about it. So yeah, I'm a registered dietitian. Woo! Okay, now I'm about to finish packing up my apartment, and I'm gonna go see some of my friends tonight. And I just hope that you guys have a wonderful time studying, if you're already studying, or if you're just somebody who's preparing, who's in their internships or classes right now, then have the time of your life. Like, meet all your classmates, become friends, have so much fun in your internships, be kind to your preceptors, and like, it's just such a fun journey. I can't believe that it's over and that I'm about to start working, and y'all will probably see in my videos about how I'm gonna get licensure and getting a job and all of those things. But first we have to move, so one step at a time. But yeah, I love you guys so much. Y'all are freaking rock stars. You're gonna ace your exam, and yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.